I am doing a little bit of reflection since I've been back from London, and there's something I want to talk about. It's about a distinction between our culture here in the U.S. and a little bit about the culture in Great Britain, or the United Kingdom, UK, whatever they want to call themselves. So I was at Suffrage, which is a department store, a very famous department store. It's supposed to be one of the best department stores out there, either in the country or in the world, as they say. Very, very expensive items, like pens that you would think would be like maybe $50, $20 because it's expensive. 500, upwards of $1,000. Very nice, but very expensive. So I was with my dad, who is an older man, who suffers from, old age. And it was the end of our trip. We're all very exhausted. And he rests his coats on some luggage for sale. We were, I guess, right next to the luggage department. And some, people were looking around. And he puts his coat down on some luggage for sale. And I'm looking, and I see this guy, the salesman, come out of the woodwork and walk up to us, and he said, "Sir," and I go, "What?" And he goes, I'm like, "All right, okay," and I let it sit for a minute, but as I'm letting it sit, it starts building. Perhaps because it was a long trip, or perhaps because I really didn't like this bullshit. So, and it got to the point where, like, I'm just a person who calls bullshit out, and when I see it, like, it may sit there in front of me, it might be very visible for a minute, but as the visibility sort of grows and I sort of get more and more tuned into the fact that it's there and overtly visible, I have to do something about it. So I woke up to the man, big guy, big guy, and I said, I just want to say something to you for a minute, but my father is a bit of an older guy, he's, it's been a long trip for us, we're not from this country. He's just resting his coat on your suitcase, really isn't hurting or harming anybody, but he's tired, there's no chairs around, and he's just nonchalantly pretty resting it there. Back in our country, we have something called accommodations for people with disabilities, and he has a few of them. And, I don't really see any harm in him resting his stuff on your luggage. It's not going to hurt the suitcase. He's going to probably be able to pick it up in just a few moments after he rests. It's not as if he's sitting on the suitcase, And the guy goes, "Well, I find, I don't understand, he seemed perplexed." So as he's wrestling in this sort of confused state, I getting more and more upset. I'm saying, "Listen, I take out my credentials. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. This is a person who needs an accommodation. You're not providing it for him. He's taking it upon himself to accommodate himself. This is something he needs right now in the moment." And a good department store would either pull up a chair and say, "Here, rest on this chair," or say, "Maybe we need to take your coat and hang it up so it's wrinkle free." Whatever you need to do. But to come over and sort of shake your hand like this, that sort of classist bullshit doesn't sit right with me. And that's all that I experienced in the UK. Sure, very nice people, very, very pleasant. But underneath that sort of veneer, that pleasant veneer, is this classism that sort of bites you in the ass. Everywhere you look, around every corner, it's there. And I'm really happy to be back in the United States. Really, very happy. Because I just, wrong ism for Max Gutman. And I guess the wrong country for Max Gutman. Except for the cheese. I like the cheese. Cheese is great.